all this does is change the end date of the lease. It doesn't renew the lease for a new term. We're going to continue that discussion in our process. It's just giving us a little bit extra time.
Okay, Mr. Carter and Mr. Redmond, I know we're kind of working with this. You guys okay with this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll offer it.
Offered by Mayor Nolan. I'll second it. Second by Ms. Wells. Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Wells? Yes. Mayor Nolan.
Yes, please.
All right, and that takes us to the public hearing on the budget amendment.
Okay,
Mr. Rogers?
Pat? We'll open the public hearing.
Yes, I believe it was a meeting ago that we had a resolution to amend our 2015 budget. And the reason for the amendment is that we received a state aid award. So we had amended the budget to include that revenue at $437,062. We had a couple other pluses and minuses in there. I read the entire resolution into the record. So this resolution now, once it's adopted, will enable us to do our billing, which we're trying to do now. So encouraging that we adopt the budget.
Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Questions?
Jim Spark at 315 Ashford Drive. Do you have an estimated timing of when the tax bill will be out? Someone asked
Sure.
today.
Yeah, no problem.
I know you might not have the exact date, but just in general how it works.
Yeah, it generally will take about, I don't know, take about 5 to 10 days to get the actual bills out. So this document's going to be mailed down, the adopted budget's going to be mailed down to Trenton tomorrow. We're hoping a certified rate, and once the rate gets certified, we'll go ahead and update our budget. So we're looking to do, hopefully by Friday, that's kind of tight, maybe a day or two after that, but that's about the time frame. And with that, I'd like to extend the due date to September 11th.
That's what the next question was, because people asked me that too.
Yeah, which is going to be on the next meeting.
That'll be on the next meeting to extend that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So that answers my question.
Okay, and because I missed the mayor's town hall, I just have a statement I would like to read. I've received many thanks for the great work we've done on the finance committee. I appreciate the support, but I believe the finance committee can and should do better. In my time on the committee, I feel that we've barely scratched the surface, and that the committee owes it to you, the taxpayers, to do a better job. I was appointed to the committee at September 14, 2014 council meeting, and the first meeting after my appointment was September 24th. Including that meeting, the committee was met 8 times. 8 times in 10 months. How much work do you think we can accomplish when we only meet 8 times? Now factor in that Mayor Nolan has missed at least 3 meetings, and Ms. Kane has missed 2 meetings and was late for 2 meetings because of conflicts with fire department meetings and business partnership meetings. In October, I expressed my concern that the winter holidays would hinder our progress as they interfered with our standard Wednesday meeting dates. I was told we would continue via email. That would be great, except emails go unanswered. Requests for meetings go unanswered. Communication with the leadership of this committee is lacking. One glaring example is the announcement at the mayor's town hall regarding the budget. Ms. Kane stated on Facebook that she was surprised I was not in attendance and that I should have known it would have been held on July 27th. As a committee member, I was told the meeting would be held in April, then in May, then in June, then in July. I only found out the date and time of the town hall and the public did while I was out of town. Also confirmed with 2 other committee members. I consider that communication amongst the committee. We are a team, and yet I don't see much effort, delegation, or communication from the officials on the team. The resident participants are trying, but we are sometimes met with resistance and flat out told we won't be given information. Prior to my appointment, the sale of unused borough vehicles was being discussed as a revenue generator and possibly a cost saving. We were told we'd be given a list, and when we asked for the list, we were told we couldn't review the vehicle. I finally received that list via Oprah request. It was discussed in the committee, and now in June, it's been authorized to go ahead and sell those vehicles via auction. I have a strong work ethic, and perhaps my expectation for results is too high, but I've been willing to put in the time and work needed to get those results. I know some of my fellow committee members are too. I hope that starting today, the other members will step up to the plate or step down so that others can lead the way.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Did you email us?
No, time's up, sorry. What's yours? Do you have any other questions?
Oh, this is 3 minutes.
Absolutely, no difference.
Okay, well, regarding this budget, I know at the first public hearing, Mr. de Blasio said the tax increase is still 2%, and what is it with the amendment?
We announced at the public hearing that we had there, we said that the overall rate will go up about 3.5% is the overall rate, counting the school rates. base rate, County Hillary is documenting that. Now, I can't attest to that until it gets certified within the next week or so.
Okay, so that's not just the municipal budget.
No, that's the overall.
Okay. And I did want to say vote of no confidence because I do not feel the proper due diligence is done. And I believe that has been validated even stronger with the statement by a member of the Finance Committee with the CPA and as professional expertise. I do not think this budget should be approved as it is. I saw no effort in departments trying to cut costs. I had a public hearing, we had 14 people at the first public hearing speak. And it was admitted at another council meeting that no changes were made as a result of those public statements. There were others given out with others in the others. There was some action taken, but it still wasn't properly followed through for the public to have full knowledge of what's going on. I also was out of town. I did not know of the public hearing until my schedule was already out of town. I could not come home for your town hall meeting. So I don't know what report you gave to the public, but it seems that if you didn't physically attend, you didn't get that information. I feel that should have been on the website. So that's another lack of no confidence on this budget. And my main opposition to this budget is I do not see any effort for capital expenditures. We have an infrastructure that is, we've got pumps. I know we have grants working on it, but we have nothing that the town is willing to take on its own unless they get a grant or a free handout to take care of the basics for a municipality. And I think this budget should include capital expenditures. And the only way we can get that is by decreasing some of these department budgets and decreasing the others, and not just going every year and seeing everything $10,000 higher than the year before. I feel the governing body is very remiss on not enforcing that. It is critical for Highlands to move forward to be able to take care of basic maintenance, road repairs, parks, all of these issues. And right now I just see it all going to departments and not really servicing the needs of the taxpayers and the residents. So as a result, I feel you should not approve this amendment. I know you didn't get all you wanted in that grant, so you went from 200 to 800. So I know the amendment is not a nice one. I just feel that we should have made a better effort to control the taxpayer money and allocate it to where it's sorely needed, not just into departments.
Okay. Any other comments on the budget?
Being that the Bateman's plant is a source of income for the borough.
Your name,
and
sir?
affect the budget.
Name and address for the,
Oh, Ed Iceman. Okay.
Your address, please.
I'm sorry. Being that the Bateman's.
address please, sir, for the record.
Sure, it's 12 Layton Court, Middletown, New Jersey. Being that the Bateman's plant is a source of income for the borough and will affect their budget. We're 10 days away from our lease expiring, and we haven't had a lease renewal yet.
Just extended it to December 31st.
Pardon me?
We just extended it in front of you until December 31st.
Before you got here, sir.
Extended to December 31st?
Right now, that was the first thing we did.
What's the reason it's extended to December 31st? Why don't we have a new lease?
Because they're working on that. Our attorney's working with your attorney.
What's that?
Our attorney is working with your attorney. They asked for a couple more months to sort it out.
Okay, that's effective one right now?
Yeah.
Is that so?
Yeah, right now, well, obviously, today, it goes from the end of the lease, which is, I think, 15?
Correct.
Is it? Yeah, so it picks up now to December 31st.
Okay.
Okay? Sir?
Paul Renner, 22 Barbary Avenue. We're at a cost-effective process here. What would it cost when and if and when we do go to court? What would it cost the borough?
We don't know, it's hypothetical, how could we know that? Depends how long it goes and what's involved.
Well, it's going to happen.
Okay,
But
it depends how long that goes and what's involved. So we would not know the cost of it because it didn't happen. It's hypothetical.
What's actually the issues of holding up a?
No, okay, yeah, we're doing the budget right now, this is a public hearing.
It's a part of budget.
It is,
It's
I'm sorry,
income
nothing else, I'll close the public hearing. Go ahead.
Okay, on to resolution R 15-163, a resolution adopting, sorry? Resolution adopting the 2015 municipal budget. Mr. Shabazz, do we need to read this?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll.
Okay. Okay, the resolution to adopt the budget be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Highlands, County of Monmouth, that the budget herein before set forth is hereby adopted of and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein as set forth, appropriations and authorizations of the amount of, $6,940,030.21 for municipal purposes, $28,912 for open space. General revenues surplus anticipated is $898,588. Miscellaneous revenues anticipated $4,073,202.39. Receipts from delinquent taxes $765,000. Amount to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes is $6,940,030.21. And the grand total revenues $12,676,820.60. On to the appropriations. Summary of appropriations. We have here operations, including contingent, is $6,291,602. Deferred charges and statutory expenditures municipal is $542,109. Operations excluded from tax, that's going to be $2,215,789.60. Capital improvements, $400,000. Municipal debt service, $804,320. Deferred charges municipal, $1,323,000. Reserve for uncollected taxes, $1,100,000, bringing the total appropriations to $12,676,820.60.
Okay. I'll make a motion, I'll offer.
Offered by Mayor Nolan,
I'll second it.
second by
Mr. Redmond.
I'm sorry, Mr. Redmond. Mr. Moore.
Before I cast my vote, I would like to reiterate that this is a travesty to the taxpayers of this community. No effort was made by the finance committee to attempt to cut budget in any capacity, from attendance to failure to how the town administrator to making efforts to restrict spending. We're in Pfeiffer before he left. He closed the books out for a reason, and in the meeting at the tax tower simply stated, we're on a path to bankruptcy, and approving this budget without attempting to control spending and ask for all departments to tighten their belts up is a travesty. And I'm deeply disappointed in my fellow council members and the mayor for not making an attempt and educating us more effectively about what was and wasn't done in that budget. So I vote no to this budget.
Okay. Sorry.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes, I am voting for this budget, and I do appreciate the work that all people on the committees and on the council put into it. I do know that we did our due diligence, and I think we have a lot to be proud of that we got this budget together. Yes.
Mrs. Wells.
Yes, I'll just reiterate what Tara said. The Finance Committee did do their due diligence. I believe we answered any questions that they had. I believe many of those members sat around the table and confirmed in the affirmative that they were okay with the budget and would support it. So I'm a little disheartened to hear that you don't, but that's okay. But with that, yeah, I'll vote yes.
I also I want to just thank Pat for all the hours he put in with us there. And the other night, I guess, whatever number of people we had, 40 or so people, I appreciate Pat answering all the questions. And it was the nice thing was a lot of new faces, people coming out to the meeting that we don't see a lot of council meetings, which is always good. That's why we started the town hall meeting to begin with there for Sandy. But absolutely, yes, I know what we did and how hard we worked. So, yes.
Okay, motion carries. Public portion.
Paul Rivers.
Mayor, I was told by one of the council members, as long as we had our receipts, that what we put into the plant, we were going to be reimbursed on.
Okay.
Obviously, that was a lot.
What council person told you that, sir?
I don't want to mention names.
Then don't bring it up. Then don't
I
bring it
don't
up.
have to do
Because
that.
it's all hearsay. Sorry. If you do the same thing with everything, you don't want on record, it's hearsay.
It really hurts me because I knew the person my whole life, and it's a lie, obviously.
Okay.
And
I would be the
I'm
first
upset.
person to call them out then if they lied to me about that.
All right,
Because I know
thank you, Kane.
I know you guys put 6 figures into it.
Bullshit. I said that to you, and you said as long as you have your receipts, we will be reimbursed.
I can't remember the last time I spoke to you, Paul,
Oh, you know what? You know what? You're right.
honestly.
That is really,
And was I on the committee with the?
yeah, absolutely you were on it.
I think Mr. Rudman and Mr. Card were handling it.
She was never on the other committee either.
You know what? It's really a travesty that you would absolutely say that and you look me in the eye.
Because I honestly do not recall
That
telling you
is
that.
totally wrong.
I will tell you, I did speak to Kevin down there in the days after it, and he mentioned to me about capital improvements, and he said as we go forward, he should have to bring that to the council table. That was 2-3 years ago, when right after the
And I
storm.
do believe that the town actually tried to take credit for what we did on seats with the improvements.
I don't remember anyone at this table saying it when I was there.
That's horrible too.
Okay,
Because you're trying to take credit for what we did.
I never tried to take credit, we said you guys put it
And we put money out of our pocket.
up to about 6 figures, I'm told.
Yeah.
I get
It's
it,
hard.
I understand.
That was actually brought up by the from Clan Council, by Larry Coleman. Hey, we're going to reimburse us for 280. And
And by the way, I think that no matter what happens, that your organization should be taking into account the money you guys put out.
Right, you actually said at that meeting, I know that.
And I agree with the statement that should be taken into consideration, whatever we do going forward. I agree with that.
That is going to be taken into account, is what you're saying?
I would ask our attorney to do that, yes.
Okay.
Because that's only fair to me. I
You
mean,
need the
if
receipts.
you put it into an asset,
You need, it's between 280 and 300,000.
I knew it was up to the 6 figures, I didn't know the exact amount, but what I would say to you is if you have any documentation, that always helps, obviously, because we're gonna have to show it to somebody also. But the other side of the coin is you improved our asset, so yes, that should be taken into consideration.
Absolutely. So I'll have Mr. Reagan present that to Mr. Bador.
Please do if you haven't already.
And we did negotiations on the lease.
That should be factored into whatever monetary agreement is made, in my opinion.
I'm surprised they did.
Yeah,
Provided
and
already,
to understand, that's why we extended the lease, because we, in the spirit of cooperation, we understand there's certain things were done by the climbers and the building association. We're trying to figure out who did what, and so if we do not go out to bid, and we do renegotiate a lease with you guys, we do it fairly and equitably. It's across the board.
And we didn't, honestly, I don't think there was enough time to do that.
I know.
So, they wanted to extend it.
You guys are climbers, we're not. We had an education curve here, and what we don't want is, correct me if I'm wrong here, is and the lease go by 10 years from now and be the same muddy water.
Either one of us, by the way.
We want everybody to be successful, and that's why we unanimously approved the extension. And if it's necessary, we'll do it again.
Right, so you can progress, absolutely.
We're trying to.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have two people here that are a perfect example of how successful or how hard this plant, everybody in the plant works with a maximum money can be returned to the planters. Mr. Verdi and Mr. Jutman left the other plant, the privately owned plant, and I think both of them could tell you exactly how much more they make by working for us. This is just like a farmer's co-op.
Fantastic.
Every dime that's made is returned to this one, okay?
I'm going to say it on the record, and we've said it at many meetings, and maybe some people weren't at all the meetings, and that's okay. You got lives, I understand that. Our goal is this, to have a long-term lease agreement, to have as many local people that are working there now, still working there, right? And to make sure the person on the water is the highest paid person out of the equation.
That's exactly.
And the borough of Highlands should be number 2.
Yeah.
We should be 2. You should be number 1. We should be number 2. Let's go 20 years again. No problem. That's our goal. Period. We've said that on the record probably 3 dozen times. We said it to your attorney multiple times in this room, back in the day in the community center, in the high school at other meetings. That is our goal. There's no hidden agenda. We're not putting anything else there. The only thing we ever wanted to add there, because it came up at a redevelopment meeting for the whole town, was some sort of historical thing to show the history of clamming and everything to do with, the river and the ocean in Highlands. That's all we wanted. That was the only change we ever wanted to make down there. And it's still a goal, because that's something that came up with the community vision of, Highlands wants to redevelop there for sand. That's still a goal. There's nothing else that this sitting council wants. Unanimously, we voted on that dozens of times. Good? Ed, I can't read your last name, I'm sorry. 12 Lightning Court?
Yes.
That was you. You got another question? Or?
No, but I think, you want to say something, Ed?
Jason,
Yeah.
you're up now, Jason.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason, please.
Jason Verity, I live in Parlin,
Okay.
and I've been working at the other plant for about 9 years,
Okay.
and couldn't make it financially, and then I finally got on to this plant with the Bayman, and everything's going well.
Great. And how does that other plant run? Was there like an on-site manager? Did the town have any involvement in
The
that?
town has nothing to do with it, it's all private.
Just a private plant?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, that's.
Well, our goal is to get you, everybody else that's working there, full capacity, not damage the clam bed by over harvesting, if you
Yeah.
will, and to make sure that you're the highest paid person in the equation, but that the town is second. End of story.
Okay.
That's the whole goal of this borough council. And have a long-term agreement. We don't want to talk about this every 5 years.
No.
We want to go 10, 20 years if it's feasible for both of us.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah, thank you.
Robert Ruddy?
Robert Ruddy, Middletown, Jersey, Bayman's Clamor. On the extension, I was wondering how you came up with December 31st when we filed the paperwork. It should have been February 28th.
I'm not sure about it. I have to ask you.
I just didn't feel that we should do a 6-month extension.
I think part of it is this, we want to see movement on both sides. You know, I think sometimes when you have a deadline, you actually hit it. If it's an outgoing, if we have a deadline out there for 2 years, say for argument's sake, really no one's going to get really moving for 18 months. If we have a 6-month deadline, we're both under the gun. I want to get it done with your representation and our representation, and kind of, honestly, I don't know why it should be that difficult. I know there's a lot of legal stuff that, it takes a little while, and I get that. But if we all have the same goal, and I know the 5 of us up here do, and everybody in your shoes does too, it shouldn't really be a big delay. I'd like to see it get done before that. We just gave that opportunity in case we're close and we can keep going.
The way is definitely not.
I mean, I've spoken to quite a few you councilmen and also, I've been doing this for 30 years for this town and lived in this town, and I just would like to see something move forward where expeditiously we cannot get all these lawyers that make money. He said your own budget needs it, so let's all get together, get our heads together and get it done, so that way we all don't have to spend a lot of money and, pay for legal, and it goes back to your town, and it stays in us, and we can redo the plant. That's one of the, that's what we're trying for.
Like I said, we want a long-term agreement. Hopefully, you'll be there as long as you want to be there. You know what I mean? We want a long-term agreement to continue the same thing. We've hopefully a better deal for you and a better deal for us.
We've been trying for meetings, but they don't happen.
And the meetings currently the meetings, there's been some meetings. I know Mr. Carter, Mr. Redmond.
I beg to differ on that.
I do too.
Listen, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I appreciate what your commitment, your family. I would meet every day between now and December 31st if it was necessary. I'm game. We need disclosure, and unfortunately, your attorney is taking some posturing that makes it difficult for us to make an educated decision. We've asked for some information. It's slow coming, and that's why we put a short time frame on, so it aggressively forces us to have these conversations. It's not going to resolve it.
On the same note, with Mayor Nolan saying before about the hearsay rule, you also are using the hearsay rule, and you're saying that someone came into your office and
I sat in the same meeting with you, sir. I sat in the same meeting with you, sir, and I asked for information.
That's a hearsay rule that you were working, that Mayor
I sat in the
Nolan.
same meeting with you, sir, and asked you for your minutes or your bylaws. It took 3 meetings later to get a copy. Someone did drop them off, and thank you. But that's the kind of lack of cooperation on both sides. We're just, as Becky said, we're just as guilty. We're trying to get the right situation going. But this is not going to get resolved here. What we need to do is, Mr. Redd and myself, and your attorney, our attorney, sit in a room, and if it's necessary, do it every day until we get it resolved.
Why is one right and one wrong? Where you can say that this is a hearsay, but yet you did the same thing to us, and it's a hearsay.
Obviously, you just didn't listen to me.
I did. I absolutely did. Maybe I don't have a law degree, but I'm not stupid.
I didn't imply you are.
Well, that's how I'm being treated.
Wow.
I will tell you this, sir, and it's not hearsay because I was there, not at the meeting Mr. Carter's talking about, but there were many times that information was very slow coming. And all we're trying to do is make an evaluation on the asset to do improvements also, not just to try to get more money, but to make sure that it's a long-term, viable, thorough asset that we can maximize the most potential, which, by the way, if we maximize the most, you're making more. Because you're gonna get a bigger percentage than I will as the town, and that's correct, that should be that way, because you're doing the work.
How many walkthroughs have you done through the plan?
Probably 10.
All right?
I had a kid that worked there actually for 3 years.
And you also hired a consultant for $32,000.
Yes, we did.
And
And the reason being, I believe that was our due diligence. None of us up here do your career. You guys don't know my career, I don't know yours. So to make an intelligent estimate of what we have to do, we hired a consultant.
don't you think that fixes into this town's income?
Of course it does, but what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen if we're able to up production or whatever the case may be, and get it streamlined and can actually have a count coming in and everything else? We're all gonna make more money. So that 32,000 comes back. Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. Ronnie?
Hi, Ronnie Johnson from Hazlet, New Jersey. I worked at the Brooks plant for 13 years. I just switched over to the Baines plant in April. And I know a lot of people talk about the money aspect of switching. Yeah, it's a little better at the Baines plant. But there was a lot of other stuff at the other plant that happened over there that it just had nothing to do with money, and nothing, it was just being treated not fairly, let's put it that way. And the Bateman's plant is just, it's so much different with the way your plans get run, your accounts come out, you know, where, like I've been doing this for 30 years too. And obviously after 30 years, you know what's in a basket, you know?
You probably will, almost of the number.
At the other plant, you know, that was like one of the biggest things. You just didn't get, you know, you didn't get paid for what was in your baskets. And at the Bateman's plant, I mean, it's the fairest place that I've pretty much ever sold to. You know, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. But that's, you know, that's just what I wanted to say.
Okay. Barbara Iannucci?
I didn't expect that. I do know you cut Kim short, she was going to read a statement, so I didn't know if she had other public things. You're good? I was going to read her statement on behalf of the
Okay, so you're good?
Yes.
Okay, Kim Storka?
Kim Scorpio, 315 F Shore Drive. Real quickly, I didn't say I didn't support the budget. I said I had a problem with the process. As far as due diligence goes, what I do at work for due diligence, when we're buying or selling the property, this doesn't, what we did in these 10 months doesn't even scratch the surface. So I think maybe the council's definition and my definition of due diligence are two very different things. And I'd appreciate it if you actually listened to me when I talk, Ms. Haney, because never once did I say I did not support this budget, and never once did I say don't approve it. We're gonna have a timeline, we're under the gun, and it needs to be approved. And I'm going to move on to Joe McFadden's statement. For those not
I'm not
aware,
reading for Joe. You wrote his name? He's not here.
okay.
Carolyn William. Like everything else, you gotta make time to come into the court.
Carolyn Brouillon, 12 Miller Street. I know that we had the streetscape was given to the construction firm last month. What are the actual dates when it's going to happen, or even the window of when it's going to happen? The only thing Dale ever said was this summer, which is...
He gave us the
I don't want to quote Dale, but he said literally any day. I'm trying to
We
figure
had it all
out the schedule.
sketched out with the dates, which I'm so sorry I don't have in front of me. They sent out to us.
But it's like any day now. That's what I was told, yeah.
Very soon.
It's coming, that's any day now.
Yeah.
It is.
But it really, really is.
All right, so with the streetscape idea, since in last year's budget we had $10,000 for lifeguards, and in this year's budget we had another $12,000 for lifeguards, which makes $22,000. Can we use that $22,000 for capital improvements on our streets that are not part of the streetscape, such as fixing curbs or painting yellow lines or fixing stop signs that are crooked, things like that? Can that be something that you guys can work on?
Sure.
The answer is yes. November 1st, we can do a budget transfer if the council so decides to transfer that monies out of that line item, which is a good option. We can put it into a street and roads line item to do any street improvements.
Great, thank you.
Okay. So, another question. Great idea. You said, yes, it can happen. Now what happens? How does that
Gotta
happen?
wait till November.
You have to
We
wait.
have to wait again, we can't just drag it, go one more time, okay, so, all right, thank you. I'm done, thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Oliver?
Offered by Mayor Noel.
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
When's the next meeting?
2 weeks from tonight, sir, right here.
You're gonna be a lot more.